Yes, after yesterday biting my hand, do you think you're going to get the same treatment? Come on then, boy. Over to the bench. How do? Muggy today, guys. Going to make my way over to the bench. So, somebody has messaged me and asked me a question. So, we like to answer questions. So today I'm going to talk about, drum roll, transgender. I was asked whether I've ever dealt with or come across a transgender prisoner. So, I'm going to tell you about a friend. First of all, this isn't a disclaimer. Everyone nowadays, they have a disclaimer, don't they? You know, you can't be homophobic because you've got a gay friend and all that jazz. Stephen, come and lie down, kid, it's too hot. So, my friend is transgender. That's lad to lass. She's been transgender for about 4 years. I remember when she came out on Facebook, as it were. She put a post up announcing she was transgender. I put a comment, had a look, you know, as I'm scrolling. I put, nice one, dude. I call lads and lasses dude. Nice one, dude. XX. Yeah? No issues at all. Didn't give it a second thought. I would later meet her and her brother and their lovely mum at her dad's funeral. Way back when we were friends and first started socialising, she was a lad. Used to knock about with her and her brother. And later, her mum and dad took me under their roof for 12 months, something like that, when I was in a bad place. So we socialised for a long time, and then when I left Sheffield to go to Manchester, I lost touch with a lot of people, family and friends. So when I met her, I asked her some questions after the funeral. It wasn't a sad affair. We were celebrating her dad's life, and he was a great guy. Fond memories of them all. So I asked some questions, you know, out of interest. Did she have a girlfriend? Yes, she did. Did she live as a lass? Yes, she did. What else did I ask? Mine's just gone blank there a minute. I did keep getting the lad and lass bit mixed up. That's just because, you know, it's difficult sometimes getting your head around it, not getting your head around the transgender bit. You know, it's got made political in a lot of places, and conversation has been shut down or tried to shut people down on this subject. Oh, that's the one, that's the big question. Any regrets, you know? She said she'd felt like this a long time, but no regrets, because she had a couple of lovely kids. And if she had become or came out as transgender way back when, there'd have been no kids. So yeah, no regrets. Very easy conversation. Some of the questions you might think are a bit dumb, but you know, I find the subject interesting. I'll come back to her after, at the end. So, 2 prisoners I came across that were transgender. The first one, quite by chance, she was on the Twos landing on K-Wing. So I was doing LBBs, locks, bolts and bars. That's something prison officers should do every day. I'm not sure it gets done now. People tell me it doesn't anymore, or it might get done in some nicks. Basically, it's now called a fabric check. Again, somebody in a room somewhere making up names or different names for things. Get a life. Anyway, locks, bolts and bars. You go in a cell, you check the lock, you check the privacy lock, give the bars a bang, make sure no one's sawing through them, that sort of thing. Quick look round. Allegedly keeps prisoners on their toes. Most people used to do it same time every day. That's not good, is it? Should be a bit random maybe. However, this lassie sat on bed looking at some pictures. I said, is that your missus? So, have a look, boss. So I looks. So I then says to this lass, are you three in drag? Because one of them was quite obviously this lass. No, boss. Two on the outside are in drag. I'm transgender. I went, really? Yep. Can I ask? She says, I'll explain. I've been with my partner for a long time, 15 years. I've been transgender for longer than I can remember. In the house, vest, shorts, flip-flops. When I go out, I make an effort. First time I've ever been to prison. Me and my partner talked about this. I'm only in for a short period of time. Can't remember the sentence, might have been 6 months, and it was a nothing offence. We decided that it'd be better if I came in as a lad and, you know, just to save any complications or anything like that. And I said, was that easy for you? She said, yeah, it was. To be honest, these lads on this landing know I'm transgender. They've seen the pictures. No one give a toot. No one give a toss. She said, you know, so all good. When I get out, I'll go back to my life. When I was at Forest Bank Prison, private prison, there was a lass there who had been a lad when she had committed the crime. See what I mean? It's difficult. So she'd been a lad, violent rapist and murderer. So in prison, she announced that she was transgender, lad to lass. That was at Forest Bank. That was at early stages. Later at Strangeways, I would meet this lass. She was on the VP unit. That's the vulnerable prisoner unit, where all the sex offenders are. You might find that strange. It's a quiet unit. She fitted in there. She had no problems there. She was comfortable. She got on with staff. She had a cleaner's job. She was allowed to shower and the like before everyone else was locked up. She had lass's clothes in a cell and makeup and everything anyone would have as a lass. She was also single cell, which meant there was only her in that cell for obvious reasons. At some point, she got moved to a lass's jail. Now here's the thing. Incidentally, I saw her at Forest Bank when she was on the healthcare have a fight with a lad, and she absolutely destroyed him. Not big in stature, but could go a bit in the scrapping department, and quite a stocky lad, looked like an under lad. She absolutely trounced him, trashed him. So, you know, and never judge a book. When she went to a lass's jail, she was kept, I believe, in isolation, solitary, the segregation, the shoe, the block, whatever you want to call it. You see, in a lad's jail, the risk, her risk was, say, at this level. Once she moved to a lass's jail, then the risk went up. I'm sure most people who are level-headed can see that. When we talk about human rights, yes, she as a transgender person has human rights. Equally, all the lasses and staff in the lasses jail she went to have human rights. You know, everyone has a right to feel safe, to be protected, so on and so forth. Now, transgender in prison is a bit of a postcode lottery. If you're down south and you're a lad to lass, you might end up staying in a lad's jail. Middle of the country, if you're a lad to lass, you might end up going to a lass's jail, and so on and so forth. Each case is which means treated individually. Yeah, there's no standard, you know, which isn't right. I will just say that there are people, male prisoners in lads' jails, so there's lads in lads' jails who are a danger to other lads and staff, and they are kept in the strictest secure conditions. Yeah. So if someone poses a risk, their risk is high to other prisoners, whether it be lads or lasses and staff, then they will be kept in appropriate conditions. Back to my mate. I asked her thoughts on this subject. I gave her the examples, and she said, you know, no prompting. Look, Sam, there's obviously a risk involved in this, and it's about managing risk. It's that simple. My nan always used to say, don't give me problems, give me solutions. So I'll tell you what I think on the subject. The prison service, well, a fact is that transgender lads to lasses in the prison population is far higher than in the general population. Yeah? So this could be a problem that is going to increase more transgender prisoners, more lads to lasses, then the prison service needs to deal with it properly. So for me, just a thought, maybe a therapeutic community. They are therapeutic communities in the system. You get a prison, maybe middle of the country, specifically staffed to deal with transgender prisoners, you know, your consultants, your psychologists, your counsellors, whatever, you know, is needed or is involved. Have you been at Water, lad? That's what you do, yeah? You put all your resources into one place, a therapeutic community. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I hope I got the language right. It is difficult talking about it, not the subject matter, just getting the lad and lass bit right when I'm talking to you guys. Okay, parting shot as always. I'm not going to cut him off today like I have twice this week. How are we doing, Stephen? Good lad. Good lad. Thanks for coming, guys. As always, email realporridge@outlook.com. If you've got a story, you don't have to have been in prison, you don't have to have taken drugs, you don't have to be about mental health, but if you've got a story to tell, please get in touch with the channel. Thanks for coming. Al City.